Recorded live with little or no editing. It's Defense Up. I'm Run 7. How you doing? Today we're going over Klawdette's defense. We're going to jump right into it. We grade on 5 different criteria. It's who you're using, their placement, their power levels, their ISOs, and what kind of mood I'm in. We got team number 1 is a quasi, what is this? Skilletary mixed with Web Warriors. I'd like to know where the rest of your Web Warriors are. You put an investment in Scarlet Spiders, so I don't understand why Miles is being left behind unless you're not going to be using him. Maybe you haven't unlocked some of the new ones at the time of this recording, but I think tomorrow afternoon you should be getting Spider-Punk unlocked, and there's a Ghost Spider Blitz this afternoon. So hopefully you're getting the rest of that team unlocked, because this is terrible synergy. I don't think these guys have very good synergy at all. Let's see here. You got Fortifier and Red Guardian. That's okay. I kind of like him. That it just makes him that much tougher. Healer's also another choice. He does have a decent enough health bar to warrant it, although he is pretty slow, so it doesn't pop off very often. Another thing is Skirmisher, just to get an extra vulnerable on the field. Skirmisher's a pretty powerful ISO. Raider here, that's correct. Striker here, that's correct, at least in their regular teams. Striker on Punisher, correct, and Skirmisher there. I like her as a Raider, but Skirmisher is the secondary choice. Not too bad. The biggest thing is that you're subbing in characters onto the Skill Military team that are no good on the Skill Military team. I don't, they don't add a lot of value here. I think that you should get that Merc minion in here with at least, if you don't put his T4 in, he still adds value to this team with his passive bonus, and all he has to do is spawn in, so you don't really have to build him up. You could just build him up enough that you get, like, what is it, the 6664 on his abilities, and then have him spawn in, and I think he's giving something like 20% bonuses to this team, and that's pretty good, and you don't really have to do any more than that, unless you're serious about the team, and then you take him up a notch and put the T4s where they need to go. Yeah, this is kind of wonky. I think you're wasting 2 pretty decent teams, although we did some testing today on stream of the Web Warriors. They're no good in offense or defense. They're very easy to beat. However, I think people will probably end up building them up and using them against the symbiotes when the symbiotes are on defense. They seem to do pretty well against the symbiotes. More testing required, but yeah. So, get rid of this. Make this an offensive Web Warrior team, and you can leave Skilletary on defense, or you can use them on offense, but build the rest of the team and make it happen. For me, this is a C. This is nothing special. I just don't like the synergies that you have going on here. Team number 2, Wave 1 Avengers. Good placement. Good ISOs. Everything's great. This is an A right here. Perfect. Just right. 400 level investment, doesn't need any more. You didn't overinvest in anything. This is a really good job. Alternatively, you can make Hawkeye a Raider, and you can make her a Skirmisher on that Skilletary team. She gets called in by 2 different people. She gets called in by 1 on this team, so Skirmisher isn't a bad pick. If you're gonna go Skirmisher with her, then you should go Striker or Raider on him, your choice. But it's a Skirmisher Striker combo either way between those 2. So it works. It's kind of user's choice. All right, over here we got the Mercs with Shuri and Killmonger. You got your core team. Placement's good. We have Skirmisher, Striker, Fortifier, Raider, and Healer. I think you should make Killmonger a Striker. I think you should make all the Merc Strikers on this team, actually. Killmonger's native ISO is Raider, but on this build with Taskmaster as a Skirmisher, you want him to be a Striker, so you get triple tap combos from your Mercs. Yes. Lieutenant only attacks every other turn, and Riot Guard even less than that. It is unfortunate, but if your Taskmaster is built up, you still get lots of value out of that, because he gets called in on those attacks, and then they turn around and attack back. Okay. This is okay. Alternatively, you can make Taskmaster a Striker and Merc Lieutenant a Healer or Skirmisher. Doesn't really matter. This team's pretty old, so you really don't want to invest in them too much more. But this is pretty close. I'm going to give you a B. I think you should change those guys to Strikers and get a little bit more value out of it. Team number 4 is an AIM team. Best thing you can do for this is put in Ultron, make it an AIMtron team. It can be used on offense. I think yours is big enough that you might find some value for it, an AIMtron on offense. It works great cleaning up those Sinister Six teams that don't have Doc Ock. They can punch way up on that, not without even Ultron. Just a straight AIM team punches way way up on that. Let's see. Healer, striker is okay. I think maybe skirmisher is a better choice for assaulter. Raider on him is okay, but you want to swap places with him to the outside. You want your 3 minions to the inside. All 3 minions, I think all of the minions have adjacent properties, and you want those guys on the inside getting the full value, because I think she has adjacent healing or something on this researcher. So put her into the middle and get Graviton to the outside. Otherwise, these are good ISOs. There's nothing wrong. You can keep him as a striker, but you've got one person putting up vulnerables and one striker cleaning them up. So yeah, that's fine. I think a placement swap, I could be much happier with this team. I'm gonna go with a B+ on that. Number 5, we got a PymTech team. Swap places with. Okay, so you want Stature, Ghost, Yellow Jacket, Wasp, and then Ant-Man in that order. You have Fortifier on Stature, I like it. Skirmisher and Skirmisher on the people getting called in by the person who has Striker, that's good. And then you got Raider on Wasp, love those ISOs. Just a placement fix. I'm gonna give you an A- for this, you're doing good. Team number 6, Red Skull, Zemo, Hydra 3.07 or something, I forget, whatever. Get rid of Crossbones, he sucks. You're better off doing Armored Guard or Trooper or Sniper or anybody else other than Crossbones. He just doesn't do well with this team. Yeah, he pops off early, but unless you're one of those OG players who super overinvested in Crossbones from day one, it's just not worth it, man. You're better off getting the damage reduction on Red Skull so that Red Skull can just help speed up this team and call in the minions and whatnot. So I think bring in the Hydra Guard, whatever he's called, with Fortifier. Let's see, you got a striker on him, okay, I guess. You have him built up, because we got to build him up for the unlock, so is what it is. Zemo on this team makes it really good. Your placement is fine. I think if you just do a player swap here with that Armored Guard or another minion, I think you'll be doing better. Yeah, I'm gonna go B+ on this. I actually think that Zemo's better used on offense. But there are times when I go through a war and end up not using Zemo, so there's something to be said there, I guess. Team number 7, Doc Ock Sinister 6 team. Okay, yours is really wonky. You have a super powered up Doc Ock and really underpowered minions. Now, I'm trying to get this through people's heads. Use a Symbiote, use an Axeman, use an X-Factor, use a Hella Natural to beat this team in one shot. The speed meta teams, you just kill these guys, use those kills or knocking them into the red with symbiotes, use them to gain up the speed, ramp up, and then roll over Doc Ock. If you don't do it that way, if you kill everybody and it looks like Doc Ock's gonna survive, CC out. It is easier to kill this team with everybody on the field than it is a solo Doc Ock. You have more options when he has all these people to ramp up speed. Otherwise, like a Hella Naturals, you just focus on Doc Ock. You put the first stun on Doc Ock, the second stun goes to Rhino. Otherwise, it's basically just auto and just focusing on Doc Ock the whole time. So I used to give this an automatic F, but there are so many people that don't understand how to beat this team that it actually gets DVs. And as long as it continues to get defensive victories, then I'll continue to give it, a passing grade. This is a striker here, that's good. Raider, that's fine. Raider, that's fine. Raider, that's fine. I'd like to see a skirmisher on somebody. Maybe make Shocker a skirmisher. Don't do that because you've already got him war ready. You don't want it. It's not worth the change. But for those of you building this team, I like having at least 1 or 2 skirmishers on the field because Mysterio calls, assists, and gets double taps and clears positive effects and stuff like that. Otherwise, you're doing fine. Wouldn't be bad to get those chargeable characters in here because I don't know who's Doc summoning if it's all the old school characters. I'm not even sure who he summons. So maybe get somebody in here like Electro or Swarm. Probably Electro in here for Vulture would be a good choice. Yeah. Anyway, or whatever. Whoever or Electro in here for Rhino might be a good choice. Rhino's got low stars, and then he's summoning Rhino as his summons, who's going to be a stronger summons and harder to kill. I don't know. It's I just don't like this team, to tell you the truth. I like Doc Ock on hybrids, and I like running the OG Sinister Six as a filler team is my preference. But for you, you're really close with placement, ISOs, and who you're using. I'm going to give you a B- for this. It pains me to do so. Hopefully soon we can get back to making this an automatic F, but there is a trend of these speed meta soaking up teams happening like this, like the Asgardians. I see Asgardians everywhere all of a sudden. Ugh, drives me nuts. But whatever, that's the world we live in. Moving on, team number 8 is a Doom Brotherhood, and you threw in Sue for a little synergy with Doom. Okay. Yeah, you know what? This is probably the best version of the Doom Brotherhood that there is out there. People are going to be trying to kill Sue to keep her from putting barrier up on the rest of this team. You've got deflects coming off on the squishier members. We'll get a taunt pretty soon. If one of these guys actually goes under 50%, then you get the taunt off a blob anyways. This is a pretty good setup, actually. You could invest some more power into these guys. You could take them to G14. There's still a lot of use for your Brotherhood as an offensive team. They work great against the new Web Warriors, and we're going to be seeing Web Warriors on defense, although I don't think Web Warriors is great. Well, that's a whole thing. Yeah, you know what? Nothing wrong here. We got Healer. That's fine. I kind of like her as a skirmisher on her team, but on this team, Healer's probably the best choice. Raider, Skirmisher, Fortifier's good here. That's great. And then you got this Striker who doesn't have anybody putting out the vulnerable, the level 2.3 Skirmisher to put out the double vulnerables for that to work off of, but who cares? You got him built up for other reasons. I don't know. You could... Yeah, I think you're doing great. Put a little more power into the Brotherhood members, but I think you're doing great. I'm going to go ahead and give you an A for this. You don't have to do anything, but if you wanted to improve it, power up the Brotherhood. Team number 9 is an old school Emmarauder build. We have Healer on Strife. He should be a Fortifier 100%. You got Raider on Mystique. She should be a Skirmisher, but Raider is the secondary choice. Raider on Sabretooth is 100% accurate. Then Healer on the rest. Yeah, it's looking good. I don't know, bring up Sabretooth. He's 7 red star. He got a rework. He's doing excellent damage since his rework. He's going to make this team a lot better. If not, you're going to use him on your Weapon X team in the future. So, go ahead and bring up his ISO, bring up his gear, switch Strife to a Fortifier. You can leave Mystique as a Raider. That's fine. She doesn't need to be a Skirmisher. You don't have any Strikers on this team anyway, so who cares, right? Leave her as a Raider just to throw out that stuff. I mean, Skirmisher is going to help. Like a Skirmisher level 5 would help her. But honestly, I recommend to people building her up to Gear Tier 12, Skirmisher ISO 5. And that's the best value you're going to get out of her. And that's still kind of... she doesn't warrant a lot of investment. All in all, this isn't so bad. It's an older team. You might consider breaking this up and start using the pieces for hybrids. I'm going to go ahead and give you a solid B for this team. I don't like that ISO. I want more power in Sabretooth, and it is a pretty old team. Number 10, Heroes for Hire. This is how you do it, folks. This is how you do it. This is really close to what the ultimate A+ perfect build is. Okay, so Fortifier on Luke Cage, Healer on Iron Fist. He can be a Skirmisher. I prefer Skirmisher, but if you already got him to a War-Ready Healer, leave him. It's not that big a difference. Then you got Striker on Pauline Wing and Skirmisher on Misty Knight. I usually get their names backwards. And then you got a souped up Shang-Chi. Absolutely souped up Shang-Chi. Okay, so here's the thing. We have a new placement scenario. If you're gonna build it like this, where you max out your Shang-Chi to be that killer team, go ahead and put Shang-Chi next to Luke Cage. He's gonna be able to tank the damage better than anybody else. And so you put him next to Luke Cage instead of anybody else. That way he catches that splash damage and chain attacks and stuff like that, rather than Iron Fist, who's going to end up losing a charge or two just from the splash damage. Having this built up, Shang-Chi makes this team absolutely killer. It makes this 460 power level very deceptive. Shang-Chi will come through and just delete a Weapon X team that isn't prepared for what's going on here. Okay, I'm gonna give you an A for this team. I think a tweak to that ISO and maybe a placement change, but honestly, you're doing fine. You don't need to change anything if you don't want to. So I kind of like what I see going on there. Klawdette, excellent job. You had some really good teams. If you want your team featured on Defense Up, links in the description below. Be sure to hit that like button and help me out. We're trying to get that YouTube channel monetized here so that I can bring better content for you guys. I have a ton of recorded videos that are in post-production or videos that need to be recorded. So, you know, be on the lookout for new content coming your way. And remember, guys, don't just have a good game. Be good to yourselves and others too. And I'll catch you next time. Bye.